And the Commonwealth Games have ended. I can't think of a Commonwealth Games which has had a greater impact than this one. Birmingham deserves the highest congratulations. I hate the boasting about medals. That's not what it is about. There were thousands of athletes there who didn't win a medal but achieved personal bests. And that's what we're encouraging people to do in life as well as in sport. I hope the corporate world out there will latch onto some of these young people and help them. Brooke Stratton, now married, Brooke Bush-Cool, has had injuries, all sorts of problems. She's a magnificent long jumper, world class, no sponsors. 5th in the world, struggling to make ends meet. It shouldn't be. Georgia Baker claimed the women's road race gold medal, 112 kilometres, do you mind? And out of a splendid team, Georgia sprinted to gold. Then you had the Adelaide dentist, Paul Burnett, in hellish temperatures with Chris McHugh. They won gold in beach volleyball. Said Paul Burnett of his gold medal, dentistry is something I'm keeping in my back pocket for now. It's hard to get feelings like this from looking at people's teeth. And then the diving. The Australian Cassiel Russo, with an astonishing last dive, gave him the highest score for any dive in the competition and a gold medal. 21 years of age, and he trains in Brisbane. His grandfather, Michel, won cycling gold for France at the 1956 Melbourne Olympics. He wants to honour his grandfather's memory by winning a medal for Australia in Paris in 2024. Some great coaching, by the way, in the sport of diving. Madison Keaney, born in Auckland but now an Australian, proved herself one of Australia's best divers in some time after battling injury. 24 hours after teaming with Belle Smith to win the synchronised title, Madison Keaney collected another gold by doing the individual 3-metre springboard event in brilliant fashion. Just like young Russo, she was trailing the Malaysian girl after the first 3 dives, and then Madison Keaney snatched the outright lead with a dazzling 3.5 forward somersault. For a young lady at 26 with injuries, out of competition, out of the pool for a couple of years, and come back to win this 2 gold medals. Terrific stuff. But what was going on in the women's cricket? They are a superb side and won the gold, as I mentioned last night. But moments before the match, Talia McGrath, the brilliant all-rounder, tested positive for COVID. She was allowed to play, to bat, to bowl and to field, but her presence sparked a lot of consternation amongst the Indian team, the other team in the final. You might recall 8 months ago, Pat Cummins, the Australian cricket captain, had to sit out an Ashes test because he happened to stand near somebody at an Adelaide restaurant who happened to have coronavirus. Then remember there were strict protocols with the Australian team in Birmingham, but they shredded their stay safe pronouncements by sending a cricketer with COVID into the fray. As one Indian journalist asked, didn't Australia stop Novak Djokovic because he wasn't vaccinated? How can they now play a COVID-positive player? The Poms were no less displeased because remember Australia last December took a hardline view to the English Test cricket side and submitted them when they arrived in Australia to a 14-day quarantine. And then Australia, in conjunction with New Zealand, forced last year's Rugby League World Cup in England to be scrapped. Anyway, Talia McGrath contributed to Australia's T20 triumph. And look, one non-Australian story concerns the southern African country of Zambia. Population a bit over 8 million, but it's a country that ranks amongst those with the highest levels of poverty and inequality in the world. A country of well over 30 different ethnic groups, per capita income, $4,000 a year, Zambia. Out of all that comes a 19-year-old Muzala Samukonga, who won Zambia's first ever Commonwealth Games 400-metre title in a brilliant 44.66 seconds. He's 19. He exited the stadium, I might add, in a wheelchair after tripping over a low advertising hoarding as he ran to collect his national flag. There's a name for you. 19 years of age from Zambia, Muzala Samukonga. I've spoken before, and I'll have a bit to say in just a moment, about Sri Lanka, broke and bankrupt. Well, 9 athletes and a manager have vanished after completing their events. Sri Lankan management hold all the passports of all members to ensure they return home, but it failed to deter the 10 from leaving. It is a very sad state, isn't it, that greed and corruption in public administration can lead people to disown their country.